Hey everyone, my name is Rhonda Robson and I'm with Rhonda's Tri-RRR-tistry, and I am a fluid artist in the middle of the United States of America in Sioux City, Iowa. Today I'm going to show you 5 different blooms, and those blooms are going to end up being wine glasses. Now I'm going to show you the end results throughout the process, but stay tuned to the end if you want to know how to actually put the skins of the blooms on the bottom of the glasses. I have that at the very end. All right, well, thanks for joining me. Let's get started. Hey everyone. All right, so we're going to do a number of blooms in a row. The first thing you need to do is get your base paint, and I use Sherwin-Williams Ultra White Semi-Gloss. The next thing you're going to need, and for these ones in particular because they're blooms on the tiles, is you're going to need to mix your color paints. And your color paints are 3 parts Sherwin-Williams Base C and 2 parts Minwax Polyacrylic. Then you take that mix and you mix it with your paint, and it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So 1 part paint to 1 part mix. So I'm putting on just kind of Christmas colors. I don't know why I decided to do the Christmas colors, but I did. So red and gold, and now I'm putting on green, and then this is the interference gold, which I really love on a lot of my blooms. And then I just make sure that it's in the center, and then I'm adding my cell activator, and this one happens to be black. So my cell activator is 3 parts American Floetrol to 1 part Amsterdam black paint in this particular situation, 1 part Gluol, and 6 drops of Minwax wood conditioner. And I mix all that together very carefully. So once you put your cell activator on, you're going to blow down and across the paint. So the pillow paint acts as a glider, like it glides the colors across, and then the cell activator pushes down and through the paints, and that's what causes the cells to pop up. So I'm just gonna do that right now, get that kind of going across, and then I'm gonna let the paint come back into the center, because you kind of push it out, but let it come back into the center, and then we'll spin it out. Sometimes I don't like the design, that maybe there's too much red, too much gold, too much black, and so I take my skewer and I just kind of bring it into the color, and I make these little curly cues, and it just really helps break up some of the solid parts of the paint. So anyway, that's what I'm doing right here. All right, well, let's spin this out. Really pretty. I really like the look of this. I like the black cell activator on these colors. It looks really good. Two thumbs up for me. All right, here's the end result. Isn't it pretty? All right, so we're going to do another one. And I'm going to do the same thing, Sherwin-Williams base, which is the Ultra White Semi-Gloss, and then my paint mix to color paint is a 1-to-1 ratio, and I'm just kind of playing with some purples and greens, and then the interference gold, really pretty. Put a little bit of the red on there, and then let's go ahead and put some cell activator on it as well. And of course, again, my cell activator is 3 parts American Floetrol to 1 part Amsterdam paint, which is the black, 1 part Gluol, 6 drops of Minwax wood conditioner, and you really mix that up. And I find that after it sits overnight, it actually works better for me. So anyway, all right, so you're gonna blow down and across the paint again. And I'm finding, you kind of see me, I made puddles on these first few. So the first one and this one here, I made a puddle and didn't go out to the corners. In the next few videos, I actually kind of push that all the way out, but on these first few I don't. So anyway, you just kind of take your paint and you blow down and across the color paint. And then if there's a lot of extra cell activator, just blow straight down. Then allow the paint to come back into the center before you spin it out. So here you go, it's spent, it's come back into the center. There's a little bit more black, and so I'm just kind of pushing down with little burst of air into the black cell activator. Definitely like the purple and the green together. That looks really good. Do that next time by itself with the gold. Just finding some more interference gold for my next. Oh, that's looking really cool. Where's that black right there? Wasn't as. I wonder if I can blow it. See what happens. Okay, let's spin this. Let's spin it this way. And I'll just spin it just slightly. Like that. It's the only area I don't like, so nice. And here are the end results on the glasses. They're pretty, so pretty. How cool that looks. All right, let's do purple first. I don't have much of it on this one, so, but I do have some over here on another one. Are you sure this is about this? Yeah, I think this is the exact same color. Oh, no, just slightly darker. That's okay though. Oh, that's weird. I blew that and that didn't have any color underneath it, so it sunk down with the white. Let's go ahead and take my stick and make some curlicues in here. Kind of break up this dark black in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and spin this. Well, I like it. I think I'm just gonna leave it. I can do 2 glasses in there, even if it's there and there. That'll look cool. Wonder if I spin it one more time. Still got lots of paint coming off of there. There. Okay. And here are the end results on the glasses. Okay, so this one I'm doing in fast speed so that you can kind of get through again the blooms and how I mix the colors together and the end results for the glasses. But I put the purple and the teal color, it's cobalt blue, on there, and then I put the metallic blue on there, and then I always love putting the fluorescent on there, so I decided to put fluorescent green, and then I'm going to use the black activator. So let's see what the results are on this one. Really pretty. Now here they are on the glass. Gorgeous. Alright, I've added more wood conditioner in here. Let's see what happens. Check that out. Yay! Way more cells. Okay. Yay. Okay, let's go ahead and spin that one out. Ready? Let's go this way. Way better. Oh yeah. Except for the white in the center is kind of wacko, so. Look at that. That looks really cool. Okay, let's spin it again. Yeah, I don't like the center at all. The outside, awesome. I don't know what's going on there. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a tool and I'm just gonna, yeah, I don't just take this. Do something like that. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna let that dry like that. I'm not liking the center at all. Yeah, no, I'm not done. I'm gonna do it again. Just ever so slightly. Okay, here we go. Okay, ready to try this again? I don't think I have enough base on there now. I think that's why it's kind of, oh, that's not too bad. All right. Let's just put like a little tiny bit of color in the center here. There we go. All right, good enough. I need to move on to a different one. What do you think? Not too bad? Yeah? We'll see. Okay, so here's how these turned out from the looking down from the top. Don't they look nice? Gorgeous, huh? Love how they look. And then let me show you what they look like from the bottom here in just a second. I'll give you It's kind of hard to see with all the light, right? And the reflection of the metallic that are in these. So yeah, really pretty. Okay, so here's the bottom. A little harder to see because of the glare from the lights, but you can kind of see how they shine with the different metallics that are in there. Aren't they so pretty? Lots of fun cells on these ones. And you can see which ones that I did from the same skin. So this one and this one from the same skin. Here, those two, those two, those two, those two, and those two are from the same skin. So I got a couple pairs out of it, and that worked out really well for these little glasses. And these are little 8-ounce glasses. See, they're just nice and cute. They do need to be washed still. You can kind of see there's kind of a glare on there. Yuck. But they're nice little glasses, and I love them. I'm so happy with them. And here are all the other ones that I did. And I'll be doing videos on all these sets. Each 12 has a set that I did. So I'll be making a video for each set of 12. All right, thanks everyone. Bye for now. Bye. All right, here's the 12 gorgeous bottoms, gorgeous. And then here's each one individual. So if you want to see how I made my wine glasses, I'm going to show you each step. So stay tuned. If not, thanks for joining me. Bye for now. Bye. So the next step is to peel the paint off, and of course after it dries. And I was able to allow these to dry just 24 hours. But I take my X-Acto knife or the utility knife and I go from corner to corner, and again corner to corner. Then you can just take the utility knife and kind of peel up one corner and just slowly peel the skin off of the tile. It is as easy as that. Seriously, these are super easy to do. So let me just show you another one. I love this one. So pretty. Love it. All right, so you go from corner to corner, and you can kind of see how I have my thumb on the blade. It helps me to guide it. Notice how my hand is also off to the side, out of the way from the blade. And then I just peel it from the corner and I peel it all the way off. I love it. Look at that shimmer. So pretty. So the first thing I do is I have my glasses in my box that I've received them in, and I take them and I flip them upside down so they look like that. So I take them and I flip them upside down. And then I take Windex and I clean off the bottoms because right now they're pretty dusty and I want to make sure that my skins adhere to that. So that's the first step I do. So I'm going to do that before I start cutting out my skin. So let me get that done. Okay, so we're going to flip all of these over, and I'm going to use this box as my device of how to keep everything together and clean when I go to resin. And I'll show you that here in just a little bit, but it's going to be really cool. So it looks like there is one that's slightly different than the bottoms. Sometimes when you buy in bulk, they give you different bottoms, but this one has a bigger divot in it. And it's working out fine on my other one. So, but you just so that you're aware of that, that does sometimes happen. So then I just take my Windex. I'm just taking my Windex and I'm just spraying it on here. And then all I want to do is just get the dust off of the bottom for right now. I'm going to end up washing these prior to me using them for the fundraiser, but right now all I care about is making sure that the bottoms are clean so that I can adhere the actual skins to them. So, and then I just let those dry for just a few minutes. So I'll be right back and I'll show you the skins and how. So I have my Liquitex Gloss Medium. I have that off to the side here. I've got my scissors. I've got my X-Acto knife. I have a wine glass, and I've got my tape. So the first thing I do is I kind of decide what I really like for the bottom. So this one, I definitely want the bottom there. And so I grab my X-Acto knife and I open it up and lock it in place. I put my hand on top of the glass and then I take my sharp knife, my sharp X-Acto knife, and I go around it. Now, you're going to notice that my glass accidentally slips from time to time, so you've got to be careful. I don't put my hand down here because I'm afraid that my sharp utility knife, X-Acto knife, will cut me. So I keep my hand up above and I cut from the top. So I just take it and go around and cut from the top. Okay, so I got this mostly cut out, and then I want to go ahead and do my second one. So this is my second one. I want to do two. I'm doing two glasses at once with one tile skin, or one skin tile. And it doesn't have to be exact or perfect because I'm going to use the scissors next. So then I take those two things and I put them off to the side, and I take off my circles. So you can kind of see that it's not exact, right, around there. And then sometimes you're going to notice that you didn't cut it all the way through, like that one right there. And that's what my scissors are for, is just to kind of, you see the edges indented in there, and I just cut it out. So then I'm going to take my skins and I'm going to adhere them to the back of this so that they are back to back. So I flip this over and I'm going to put my skins here and here, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them down right away. So, and it looks like I cut into there, so I got to be really careful. If you accidentally cut or there's a crack, you can use your pens to help hide that. So I'll show you that here in just a second, because I think I'm going to have to hide that one. So I get just a tiny bit of my Liquitex gloss medium, and I just put on here. That's all you need for gluing these circles down to each other. I'm just going to put a little bit like that, and then I'm going to put my skin on top of here and just kind of rub it down. And the same thing with this one here. Try to get it as close out away from that crack as I can, but still being able to get a full circle. Okay, then I adhere it there. Then I take my scissors, and I know this is time consuming, but let me tell you, they look so much better than not taking the time to cut them circles and not to put them back to back and glue them, and it just looks gorgeous. Now you can just put one circle on the glass, and I'll show you that in this next one that I do. You can do that if you want and then paint over it. I've done that before. So there's one disc done, and then here I'm going to take another one, and I keep my skins. I've got a pile of them. I did 96 of them yesterday afternoon and last night, and I use those skins for magnets, and I'll show you what I've got here in just a second. But I make sure as best I can that the white is covered and it's mostly in a circle, like that. So that's how I mostly do it. And let's see, there's a little bit of white right there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off there, but I wouldn't have to do that either. Okay, so then I take these skins. Let me just show you. These are my two discs. And then I have these magnets that I make as well, that there's enough on there to make that. And this one I don't like as well, but you know, I could find something like, if the center was more like that, that would look really cool, right? So I keep these just in case I use those for that off to the side. All right, so let's get back to what we are doing. So I've got these two discs now, and I take two glasses right there, and these discs will go on the bottom. So then what I decide is which side I like better from the top. So I put the glass down and I kind of decide, okay, that looks kind of cool. That looks kind of cool. Let's put this one. Which one do I like better? Ooh, I think I like, that one's a tougher one. I think I like this one better with a deeper pink. And then what's going to happen is that's going to be my bottom. So that looks really pretty, right? Just like that. All right, so that's going to be this one. And then this one, I think. So then I have my two glasses, Let me put this more in the center for you. My 2 glasses, I've got, these are gonna be the bottoms that are gonna be seen from the top, so I keep them flipped up. Then I take my Liquitex medium and I put 1 dot, just 1, that's all you need is 1 little dot in the center. And then I take my brush and I just gently brush it across. If you overwork this or not put enough on here or put too much, you're gonna see streaks from the other side. So I just kind of barely brush it on. Then I take my circle and I put it in my 2 fingers side to side and I center it on here. Let me move this one off to the side so you can see better. I center it on here like that, and then I take my finger because there's an indent and I push it down. And then I take it, oh, and it slid a little bit, so let's put that back in the center. And then I just let it kind of go all the edges and push that down. So let's do the other one again. So I take my fingers, put them like that, get the sides, press in the center, and this one I must have had more Liquitex on it than normal because it's sliding a little bit more. And then that's what it looks like from the top, right? I don't know if you can see that very well, but those look really, really cool. So you can kind of see how I've got an edge right there that's kind of sticking out. So that's what I use the scissors for. So I put my hand on the bottom to keep it from sliding, and I take my scissors just on the edge, not underneath. If you get underneath it, you'll actually cut it too close. So I take it on the edge and I just snip around the edge to make it so you don't see it from the top. And you can't catch then your finger on it later and peel it off, right? All right, so there's that one. It's done. So I'm gonna put that one off to the side, and then I'm gonna look at this one. This one, it looks like it's got a little bit on this side over here. Kind of moving it over just a little bit because I see some space that's not all the way to the edge. This one right here doesn't have space all the way, it doesn't have something all the way to the edge. And actually that's not horrible. And so let me show you how I'm going to now rectify that. So I'm gonna get these little skins out of the way. The next thing I do then is I use an old tape thing and I put it in the center of my tile, and I grab a paint brush pen, whichever one color you think would look the best. So for this one in particular, I think I can either do gold, I probably could do like that pink if I really wanted it, green, that gold there, but I think I'm just gonna do this gold. So, and I just take it and I just put it on the edge, and I go a little bit at a time, circling this, and if I need to get on the actual top of it, then I do that. And you don't have to do this, but this is just because I don't want to see that little white, right, of the skin that you can see when you look down on it right there. So that's that white. Can you see that? How that's got some white right there? So I'm just going to take my pen and go around it. And then sometimes I get it on the glass, so I use a paper towel and I just kind of circle it like this to get it off the glass. So it comes off nice. And then there you go. So that's the first one. Let me go ahead and do this one. And I put this here, it just helps me so I don't slide it off the tile. It just is a little bit better for, I don't know, maneuvering and being more exact as I'm trying to go around. Try not to get on the bottom and get into the actual painting. But if you do, the great thing about these pens is all you got to do is add a little bit of water and to like your paper towel or your finger, and you can get it off. So, and I take a little bit of extra time. I'm taking a little more time than I normally do for you guys right now. It takes me about 7 minutes from the time I decide to cut the skin till I get it prepped for 2 glasses to get it prepped for resin. Okay, so now that I've got the glasses done, I go ahead and put them down. I grab my tape, my painter's tape,
and I want to protect my glass from the resin, so I just tape down all 4 sides, and I use it on the tile because here I'll show you why. So I cut on the tile so I don't cut anything, and then I use my tape on the tile because then I can go like this, get all my edges down, and then I just peel it up and it looks like that. Okay, so I'll do this one here again for you guys. And you probably can tell I'm from the Midwest in the United States because I say you guys, you guys. Instead of, I used to live in Houston and I said y'all all the time in Texas. Hey y'all, but I don't know, I'm just no longer that. I'm a Midwest gal now. All right, and so I just peel that off and there I go. And now they are ready for resin, all right? So I'm gonna put them in the box and I'm gonna show you how protected they are back into the box. Then I take my glasses and I just put them down in here and look at how well protected. Okay, I'm gonna measure my resin and you're gonna need your PPE, which is personal protection gear. I'm outside, so I don't need a respirator. And really with this stuff, you don't need a respirator. Okay, the key to resin is to make sure that you measure the exact amount. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. And I don't need much for these, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my, let's see, this one will be the hardener, and pour out a little bit in there, not a lot. We'll go to 1 ounce. Okay, it's exactly 1.06. You need to be exactly the same when you add in your resin. So you got your hardener in there already. Now I got to add in my resin. 1.06 will get us 12 or 2.12, 2.12. 2.1, 2.5, 2.05, I mean. 2.16, so I didn't get quite 2.112, but that's okay. All right, then you have to, hey Siri, set timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
So then you need to stir your resin for 3 minutes. This is I had a whole bunch of Panera extra glasses from when we did a, I don't know, catering thing, so I just have an extra one, so I'm using it. Since I'm just doing a little bit of it, I'm not doing a huge amount, I'm gonna go ahead and just do it with this.
Okay, so let me show you how I did my first coat of resin. So it was actually in the garage when it was super cold, so my resin was kind of thicker. So I ended up just spooning it in with a plastic spoon onto each single one that was in the same box. I was freezing. I couldn't believe how cold it was that I was doing this, and I really wanted to protect my family and the fumes. So I'm out in the garage in the middle of winter doing this, and I think it was, and I'm not kidding you, I think it was a wind chill factor that day of like 20 below zero. But anyway, I'm out there doing this, and all for a fundraiser, right? You can kind of see it looks milky white, and that's just because there's a lot of air bubbles in there. And so this first coat that I'm doing, I'm just gonna kind of get the resin in the middle, and then I'm gonna spread it with my spoon, and then I'll heat it with my heat gun. You do have to be cautious with resin, you know, getting on yourself, on your hands, and really depending on what type of resin you're using, it has quite a bit of fumes and it can cause respiratory problems. So I had decided that I was going to go ahead and use a respirator here, and so I actually have a respirator, so I'll show you a picture of me with the respirator on. But then I discovered that this particular resin I didn't need to, but yeah, it kept me warmer anyway. All right, well, let's take the heat gun and let's heat these up. And you kind of start high up and then you go down, and you can kind of see how it's starting to like pop the bubbles, the air bubbles, and then you'll start to see it actually get warm and start moving a lot more than just popping the air bubbles. And it kind of looks like I'm moving fast, but I'm actually got this on a little bit faster mode, so you can kind of look through this and watch through this a little bit. You probably have already fast forward, and if you haven't, thanks for joining me and keeping going with me. But now you can kind of see I'm getting a little closer to the actual wine glass to heat it up, to heat that resin up and pop those air bubbles that are in there. Because that's the big thing, right? You don't want that milky white. You want it clear, crystal clear. So you just need to make sure you heat it up enough that it's going to get rid of all those bubbles. And it was harder to work with it being so cold. So just be aware of that when you are using resin. And again, on this, I was worried about the resin going over the side of the glasses. And after the first coat and with the second coat, it didn't bother me because I just peeled it off. I just spent the time and just peeled it off. And yep, it adds more time. It does. But they look fabulous. And I'm so looking forward to showing this to the group of people at my fundraising event. See how shiny it's getting? They're looking so good. I think all the air bubbles are popped now, and I'm just kind of making sure that it gets all the way to the edges. And on that one, you can kind of see.
Okay, so welcome back. Now that you have done your resin, I want to show you what I do next. So these I resined yesterday, and I just want to tell you a couple tricks that if you would get some resin on here while it's still wet, rubbing alcohol works really great for these. So I just wanted to kind of show you that. It's not so good once it's dry, but while it's still wet. Okay, so the items that you're going to need are possibly some scissors, a X-Acto knife, or technically a utility knife, and then I used a small one too in order to kind of bend to get to things. So those are the tools that I use. Typically it's just this one, but I do use those ones from time to time. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I check to see if it is dry enough, and again, I did these yesterday. So the reason why I'm going ahead and doing them right away is I don't want them to get too hard. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off. And then once the tape is off, you're going to see that there is resin along here. Okay, so what I do is I take my X-Acto knife, or what my husband calls a utility knife, and I just start in an area, and I do it from the top. And I just put lotion on my hands, so that's not good. Let's get some gloves to make sure it doesn't slip, because the worst thing you want to do is to slip while you have a knife in your hand, right? Yeah. All right. Get my gloves on. All right. So now that I have this, what I do is I take it from the top, not from the bottom, because if I go like this, I tend to go into the design too much. So I go from the top and I start right here, and I start cutting along the edge. Now careful of where your thumb is, careful where your other body parts are, because if you accidentally like flip it, you've got to be careful there. Okay, so I go along cutting that. And then I discover I've got more. I go on the top now, just to make sure that all of the top is off. You know what I mean? All the top is off. It's like all the resin is off the top of the area. So, did you see how that knife kind of went over here? It almost got me. So, you just have to be careful as you are doing these. And standing up where I'm at right now is just a harder way to do this. And honestly, the gloves are harder for me. So, once I get that off, the sides off, it's warm or it's soft enough to kind of melt the sides. So then what I do is I take a paper towel or a towel and I just kind of friction it, and then I meld the sides together. And I'm going to use that with my hands. I'm going to have to wash my hands, all the lotion that's on them right now. And what that does is it kind of warms up the sides, and it just kind of gets the sides to be more of a gloss instead of a cut area. Okay, and so there it is, all done, ready to go. Then I always check to see if there's like any on the glass, just in case. And if there would be, I use this right here to scrape off the edges. All right, kind of go away from yourself, scrape off the edges of the resin, wherever that is. I see just a little piece right here. There. Okay, so that one's done. All right, I'm going to stop this and come back and wash my hands from this grease that I have right now. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. So I've got my tape here, get that out of the way. That one is done, put it off to the side. So let's do this one. Let's go ahead and take off the tape. This one doesn't have as much on the edges as the other one did, but again, from the top, get my glasses on, I take the resin off, and I do it on the day after I do resin, because if I do it on 2 or 3 days later, it gets so hard that it's almost like glass, and then it's really hard to get off. There. Okay, so now that I have my sides done, I can take my hand or a towel like I did before, and I use friction to soften the edges, because it's still 24 hours since I did my resin, so it softens the edges for me. So you kind of see that I actually had blue pen on that one. Let me go get my towel. This is the one that I was using, so I just kind of use it, friction, and then I melt it. So there you go. And then I take this and I clean up my edges. Collects the pieces. All right, we'll do one more. Take the tape off. Nice and easy from the top. I just kind of saw it back and forth. I don't try to go too fast, because then if I do, it'll like jerk up, and I don't want it to hit me. Got to be very, very careful when you're working with sharp knives. Utility knife is sharp. Now on this one, there is some residue right here. So that one is now done. So looks like there's a little bit of resin right there. Take my towel, friction, and then I just kind of take my fingers and I push it into the sides. And there you go.
Thanks for joining me today, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell. And if you like this video, I bet you're gonna like these as well. Thanks a lot and have a great day. Bye!